From Ringside.
Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, McIntyre wins back the belt. Selena Vega gets fired. It was a hell of a Wednesday night NXT show, a good AEW Dynamite show. We also have our Survivor Series predictions and our NXT TakeOver Do-Over. Brooklyn 3, that and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast. Just a brain fart, man. Just completely lost it.
It happens, dog.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Heat Potato Pie. And sitting to my left, we have... Maybe I should start off in Edwardsville.
That was great.
Sitting to my left, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Jesus, that was good. Heat potato pie. That's good.
It's Thanksgiving.
Right. Allows to bow our heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 182, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It is all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat. Big week in wrestling this week, at least for myself personally. MLW came back last night, so Wednesday night was really loaded. It's probably going to be loaded this way moving forward. Going to talk about that, a little WWE, AEW, maybe sprinkle in some New Japan. I don't know. We got a lot of shit to go over.
Out there in Edwardsville, Illinois, we have Two Beers. Zach Pullman, what's going on, Two Beers, Zach?
Oh, nothing. Been drinking a lot of hot tea and hazy IPAs and smoking a lot of weed. So, just call me Adolf Hipster.
So before we get
I'm not going to call you that.
You know what? I'm not going to wait until the end of the show for birthdays. It is JCB's birthday.
No. You got to go first, man. I was about to say, your shit was on Sunday.
Didn't we talk about it?
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thanks. Didn't we talk about my birthday last week?
Look, you go first, and then we can talk about it in a second.
I had a birthday. I had a good birthday.
Right on. What'd you do?
Had fun. We went out to eat with my in-laws and my beautiful wife, and we went out to Cooper's Hawk. Is that the name of that place? It's like a winery, but it's kind of like a chain. I don't know. The wine was good. The food was But then we...
well, at least the most important thing was good.
Well, their menu was too big. Like, you know how like really good places only have like 10 things on the menu?
It couldn't have been like Cheesecake Factory, was it?
That's what we kept saying when we were looking at it wasn't quite Cheesecake Factory, but it was a huge menu. And, if...
2 pages, 3 pages tops is more than enough.
I hate the huge menu, partly because it means that they're not doing anything exceedingly well, and partly because I am so racked with indecision in that moment, like regardless of like setting, even if I've been to a place 100 times and I already know what I'm getting, like whenever the waiter's like, what do you have? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna fuck this up. There's like 100 things.
Slow down.
Now if Cooper's Hawk, if they want to sponsor the place, I will sell the fuck out of those potato seared scallops that were kind of bland and didn't really have a whole lot of flavor. But then
nice sell there.
I think my wife can hear me. I think she was yelling something downstairs about Cooper Hawk.
Yeah.
And then Sunday I went to this indoor golfing thing where you hit into a screen and it's virtual. My buddy took me. It was a whole bunch of fun. It had a good time. But Jason, more importantly, I mean my birthday's in the past. God. Your birthday is tomorrow.
Yeah.
And how old are you going to be?
47.
Oh, 47. You don't look a day of it.
I appreciate
you don't look
that.
a single day of it.
I'm trying to pluck those gray hairs as best as possible.
Anyway, so if you're listening, go ahead and send Jason a happy birthday tweet.
Let's not.
He would love to see it.
Let's not.
Maybe add a couple years on, add a couple numbers on.
Yeah, throw some Yano kiss into it. Why don't you?
That would be great.
He doesn't look a day older than 25 to life.
Jesus Christ. I haven't done anything illegal in a few minutes.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you've done something illegal since you've been sitting next to me, and you've only been here like 10 minutes.
I said a few minutes, damn it.
All right, Jason, tell us about F&B Eatery.
F&B Eatery on the corner of 3453 Southampton and Marquette. I was thinking about this today, and I'm going to treat myself tomorrow. So why don't you meet me over at F&B Eatery tomorrow? Maybe I can beat you there and get you a gift card that I've been trying to put into your gift box for a long, long time. Thanksgiving is next week. Christmas is weeks afterwards. Let's just start knocking out the gift list right now and keep people happy. Meet me at F&B Eatery, corner of 3453 Southampton and Marquette. Tell them that Band from Ringside sent you.
You know what else? Like, talking about gifts, just as a real quick aside, that's another way to support your local businesses. You know, when this pandemic is done, you don't just want fucking Cooper's Hawk and Applebee's around, all right? You're gonna want places. You're gonna want your neighborhood places, your neighborhood drug dealers, your neighborhood restaurants. Those are the people that you are going to want to support, and the people that you're gonna want there when all this shit is over. So yeah, support F&B Eatery. Tell them the Band from Ringside sent you, and let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
JCB, kick us off.
Going to do things a little differently this week because at least we kind of discussed it in the 2 minutes of our pregame.
The meeting.
Yeah, the preparation for the pod. What was the biggest story coming out of the week that was? We agreed. Drew McIntyre regains the WWE Championship over one Randy Orton. I'll just cut to the chase on the match itself. Was fine. I just have a problem with how now looking back playing, I guess Monday day quarterback. It's kind of the way they booked this is a little weird because it feels like Randy probably should have won it at SummerSlam when he was at his highest peak, his apex, if you will, coming off of defeating Edge, going on with this momentum. I thought that would have probably been the best way to do it. Now, on the back end, I don't have a problem with it. And I said it on Twitter. I guess that was Monday night, just in case. BFR JCB, BFR Bill to my right, BFR Zach, all lowercase letters with an H, BFR Lucha Chris. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook at Bandit from Ringside Podcast, and be friends of BFR as well. I'll say it like this. For me, it wouldn't have mattered who wrestled Roman Reigns. Both had their little moments of intrigue. With Orton versus Reigns, you got heel versus heel. Both are pretty fucking hot. Reigns is white hot at this point. With McIntyre, it felt like this was almost kind of like this is the way it should have been. Maybe it took a long way to get to this point, but we're here. Drew McIntyre is one of the guys that I think deserves some kudos to get it from getting us from the start of this pandemic to where we are now. Bayley in the same way on the women's side for WWE. So I've kind of felt like it was almost deserved that Drew McIntyre got this point. The entrance for the title match where he came out in the kilt and the sword or whatever, that felt more like a WrestleMania entrance than what he did physically at WrestleMania. So it kind of felt like this was almost meant to be. So for me personally, I didn't have a problem with the match itself. My biggest problem is how we got to this point where Randy probably should have won right away, maybe defended it in some form or fashion, a false finish where you don't necessarily get Drew away from the title, but you can still keep him in the title picture. Nonetheless, we're here now. This is the one match for Sunday that I'm absolutely looking forward to. The rest of this card looks absolutely hot garbage. It is the one match that I'm looking forward to. Even Sasha and Asuka looks good on paper, but we've done that 15 times up to this point. This is the one match that feels fresh, even though we've done this one before, obviously, maybe a year or so ago, give or take, where Drew wasn't the same, this Drew that we see now. This is a totally different Drew McIntyre.
Drew is so strong now.
So now I'm waiting to see how we're going to book this, and I'm looking forward to this match, to be perfectly honest.
Zach, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, way more than Orton versus Reigns would have been. And I also really enjoyed the fact that they did it on Raw, especially because there was it seemed like for years we didn't even have a champion on that brand, because Brock would be gone with the Universal title.
Yeah.
And so it really just kind of, that's like a magical moment. I mean, I got to see Daniel Bryan heel turn AJ Styles here in St. Louis and turn the title on SmackDown, which is the last time I remember something like that happening. And I got to see it live, and like it was like a totally like magical moment. It's super cool. Now you don't have that in the pandemic era, but still a title change on Raw is super cool. And if you're trying to pop ratings and show that your matches like mean something, best way to do it is to do something like that. And it was cool. Like I didn't mind the setup so much just because like, you know, Drew is the baby face going in, Orton's the heel, so it's like exciting to have like a baby face challenging the heel for a main championship. The match actually felt like it meant something rather than like a throwaway like Raw main event. Despite the finish, it like felt like it was like a big deal, like Jason was saying. So I think it's cool. I mean, Drew and Reigns with the work that they've done this year, both of them. I mean, I think the like Venn diagram for people that have a boner and people watching that match will just become a circle on SummerSlam night. So
I can't even say anything at this point. I wanted to say something. I'm just gonna do it.
Jason, I did watch Jason do something illegal right before we started. So,
one has nothing to do with the other.
I want to say I don't mind the way that they got there, because if they wanted to get another championship reign for Orton,
They snuck it in.
You know, Orton put over McIntyre so huge in the last 3 or 4 months. I mean, he's really made McIntyre look like such a fucking star. Obviously, McIntyre versus Reigns is a much more intriguing matchup than Orton versus Reigns. But my only thing is that McIntyre Reigns seems like a WrestleMania main event.
Mm-hmm.
And they might be jumping the gun on this. They might be looking at this as something that they can do for the next 3 or 4 years. They might be looking at this as the next Cena Orton, you know, which they had going on forever.
Rock Austin, maybe. I'll go like this. It sounds good, but and I'm just going to stick to it until they show me otherwise. Maybe that might have been the end game. To me, the end game now is Rock versus Reigns. There's no way, unless there is a serious swerve that I just don't see coming.
Unless they can't do it in front of a crowd.
And that's the no way.
Or unless somebody gets hurt, or unless...
I feel like Vince has to plan for people that are in his company and not plan for those outside stars. I'm not saying that he is, but I feel like the smart move is to build around people that are in the company every day. And then, yeah, you can always bring somebody from the outside for a great program or to get somebody over. But, yeah, like,
okay,
I don't know, having that path, like, it's just a dangerous path, right? Like,
no, there's no question about it. But, I mean, this is... A, it's WWE. B, this is WrestleMania, and this is what WrestleMania is. It's bringing in outside stars, Floyd Mayweather, God knows whoever else, Pete Rose, what's your boy's name from
Donald Trump.
That's
biggest WrestleMania buy rate in history.
Okay, so I mean, it's not like this is something that we don't do or it's outside the box. This WrestleMania brings in superstars that have more times than not nothing to do with WWE or wrestling in general. So I'm not saying that The Rock is just that far out of bounds that it's not going to happen, but I do agree with you on the sense that it's time to kind of go away from the old guard, so to speak, and kind of focus on the guys and girls that are in the building, in the company on the day-to-day basis and build those people up. Bayley, to me, is a great example. A year ago, Bayley wasn't nearly as hot as she was coming into Survivor Series coming in this year, if she's even in it. I mean, you know, there's 2 spots open. God knows who's going to fill those spots. But, I mean, I guess I agree with you in the sense, like I said, to me, the bigger issue is building up the brand that you have versus depending on the old guard, which you've done for so long. But it's not going to change. You're going to still get old guard coming in, but
yeah,
you need to get away from it at some point.
There is nothing that Vince has ever done that's going to make me think that he's not going to try to talk Taker into another match at WrestleMania, that he's not going to maybe try to get Goldberg in there, that Edge most certainly is going to be in there, considering
Brock
that he's
Lesnar
healthy.
is still hanging in the wings.
Brock Lesnar is going to be there. I mean, there's nothing that has dissuaded me that that's going to happen.
I just buried the lead here. Did you see the congratulatory ass smack that Randy gave Drew?
Yes, I did.
That was my favorite thing that happened this week.
It was quick, but I caught it.
He did that on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't see it.
It was super quick. It was like, good job, kind of.
Right after the 3 count.
Yeah, it was like good game.
Drew had the cover where he was like laying on his back and he had the leg hook, so he's kind of doing a bridge, so his ass was in the air, and like Randy just smacked him, almost caught him in the nuts. Actually,
It was damn close.
I mean, you can't really say enough about the way that Orton has put McIntyre over. He has made him look.
It's time to kind of give Randy a little props for this one. I mean, I know Randy doesn't have the best reputation with fans and with wrestlers in general, but for this go around, Edge and Drew McIntyre, you got to give him some props.
But let's also say this:
Vince too. You know what? Vince is crazy but Vince has done an amazing job of staying behind Drew, having a vision and actually sticking with it, regardless of the pandemic. He could have done some shit like Ghetto did and put double belts on Evil. He hadn't done that. He just stuck with the Drew vision.
Easy, Captain.
We'll get back to Vince in just one second. But I know that Randy's not the most exciting performer, and I know he's not really on anybody's Mount Rushmore, but he's certainly not Cena, who buries young talent or would make fun of Cesaro's nipples or shit like that. Like, Orton is there for the business. He's doing his job as a veteran, putting young guys over. He put fucking Tinder Mahal over like a motherfucker, He does what he's asked to do. He's a true professional, and he has made Drew McIntyre, even with the loss. I mean, they've had 4 title matches, and Drew's won 3.
Right.
And he's put over Drew huge. And, wins and losses, despite what friend of the show, Kurt Stallion, says, wins and losses matter. They matter in the WWE, and Drew looks as strong as he's ever looked. I mean, he looks like a world beater, which is almost why we'll get to the predictions later about Survivor Series. So
yeah, that's why I kind of wish that they would have kept that momentum going.
Let's just set that aside.
You should have won after Survivor, or should have won after SummerSlam, because it made sense.
Don't give it away. We want people to keep listening so they can listen to your predictions.
I'm not giving away the predictions. I'm just saying, I'm reinforcing what I said earlier. SummerSlam should have been where Randy Orton wins, because at that point it just made sense.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I should have listened to you. I shouldn't have cut you off.
It happens, man. It happens.
I should respect my elders.
Motherfucker. We be without my night today.
The other Raw note, or main roster note, is that Selena Vega tweeted her support for unionization, said, "I support unionization," was all the tweet said. And
that's all it needs.
WWE announced her release 10 minutes later. Now, I don't think that WWE released her. They saw the tweet and then they released her. What I think happened was Selena Vega probably got into it with WWE, because WWE, for those that weren't listening a few weeks ago, we brushed on it. WWE is not letting their talent keep their Twitch money and their, is it OnlyFans? Not OnlyFans.
No, it's not OnlyFans.
Anything. Well, they were upset about Selena Vega's OnlyFans just because she was making money that they couldn't be a part of, but they were really upset about the Twitch, and they're basically asking everybody to give up their Twitches, and
because it's basically using. Sorry, Two Beer. It's basically using their WWE personas.
Copyright. I mean, WWE has Selena Vega copywritten.
And yeah, they basically own the Selena Vega.
Even though her real name is also really hot.
Yeah.
Tia Trinidad.
Tia Trinidad, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, that's where the rub is. Where
they're
now
forbidden from even using their own names, though. That's the thing, is WWE is taking it a step further, and they're picking this fight because even though they're making the most money that they've ever made in their entire history, and it's during a pandemic, and Selena Vega was not making a lot of money with WWE, that's why she was making more money doing Twitch and OnlyFans. So of course for her, you're just gonna pick the one that makes you the more money. It's just ridiculous. And it's just a weird fight for them to pick, right now with current climate and there's an administration change. I think it's just Vince thinking that he's bulletproof and nothing bad can ever happen to him, because nothing bad ever has. But I mean, Andrew Yang is a pro wrestling fan, could end up in Joe Biden's cabinet, could be a labor secretary. I mean, he knows like the status of independent contractors, quote unquote, that WWE has, and like not a fan. So it's just a weird fight for them to pick whenever they're making so much money. It's not like they're actually hurting.
Well, also, isn't it and I might have said this exact same thing a few weeks ago, so forgive me, but isn't it a rising tide floats all boats type of situation? Like, isn't the more people that Selena Vega gets on Twitch that get, I mean, I think we did talk about this, because didn't we talk about how this is probably why, I mean, this can only add to the popularity of New Day, considering how popular Xavier Woods
is. Yeah, I was going to say AJ Styles has his. So I mean, I think that ultimately what this is going to boil down to is it's not under the WWE Twitch network. Like they have their own podcast network. Obviously, you have the WWE network. I'm thinking, let's just say 6 months from now, they have their own Twitch channel, and then that's where AJ, Xavier Woods, whoever else wants to do anything Twitch, you could do it then. But WWE has to get a part of the pie. Once they figured out they weren't getting a part of the pie, that's where I think the problem lies.
I mean, it's just fucking billionaires being billionaires. It's rich people being rich people, and it's...
No, see, I'll say it like this. The Rascals have left Impact Wrestling. Apparently, they're on the way. The rumor is they're on the way to the WWE, which is great. Everybody has their dream to go to the next level. Whatever your next level may be for the Rascals, it's for the WWE. I've always said, and I will continue to say, the problem with this is be careful what you wish for. You might get there, you might get to the top, but then there's the price to pay to be on top. You're going to give away a lot of creative freedom and any kind of, situations like this where you could possibly do something outside of the box for up, down was just to do something fun because guys like video games. And then all of a sudden it became this whole phenomenon. That's where we have the problem with this whole Twitch thing is now it's separating itself from the WWE. The Rascals coming to the WWE is great for them, but I mean, their whole shtick and Impact was about smoking weed. You're not going to be able to talk about smoking weed on Raw or SmackDown. So that, yeah, it's great for them to get there, but there's a price to pay. So you sign the line with on WWE, you're going to have to give up something.
Yeah, if the only way you can get over is by talking about smoking weed, maybe you never really got over in the first place. That's
Is that a personal attack?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I'm sitting right here, dog.
Wait, on who? Personal attack on who?
Me.
I feel attacked. I feel violated.
We're all weed smokers.
I was about to say, look, man, I don't see none of these rascals up in here except for you and me.
Any last thoughts on that, Two Beer?
I just think we should break out the guillotines again.
It's like that? Who are we guillotining?
The billionaires.
Yeah, okay.
Let's get to that. 2 counts.
Bonjour.
2, 3.
All right, Zach, I'll let you choose which one you want to take for the 2 count.
You know what he's taking.
Oh, dear. I'm going to go with NXT because it's the one I watched most recently. And in my current state of awareness, it's the one that I can remember the best. Without notes.
It was better also.
I don't know. I liked both shows. I'm still kind of not thrilled about this Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, Leon Ruff storyline.
Mark,
but it's not because of Johnny. Like I said last week, Johnny can lose.
It's okay. It's okay. You can be a Mark. It's fine. Just admit it.
But that's what he's there for. Like we talked about, he's Teflon. I don't mind him losing. I don't mind him not having the title. It's just you had an opportunity this week to not make Leon Ruff look like such a nerd.
Agreed.
And they just doubled down.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. Totally.
Disagree.
I agree with it up until the slap portion of the program. I didn't like the match. The finish where Priest gets Ruff disqualified for punching Ruff was a little, I'll say it, a little lazy, but it got where we needed to be. Okay? I didn't have respect for Leon Ruff until after the fact when he came up to Regal and was like, well, fuck it, I'll fight both of these jokers and smack the shit out of Damian Priest like he owed him some money.
That was a nice, that's like more of what they should have done. Because like, I mean, the number one rule of like writing is to show and don't tell, right? That's like what you're supposed to do with narratives and like, you know, creative writing, which is what professional wrestling is whenever it's written. And you have to show, don't tell. They're telling us that Leon Ruff is like a star because, you know, he got the title, and they're like telling us that, you know, he doesn't take any flack, but they're still showing us he's kind of a geek, and he has a size disadvantage, but that's not like abnormal either. I don't know. I am looking forward to the triple threat, maybe not as much as Bill, but I think
Bill's over here shaking his head. I'm about to say, you better hurry up so this man can talk, because I think his head's getting ready to come off.
Like, if that's like what it's led to, that's fine. If Leon Ruff is elevated by this, then, you know, that's the goal, right? And maybe I'm wrong about maybe it's just me, and maybe like other people are resonating with this and they think of Leon Ruff as a bigger star after this. I just think he gets like tossed right back in the shuffle with, you know, so much talent that they have down there.
I think that this is the best use of all three guys at this point. First of all, you could have a boring ass feud every single week, because they obviously want to continue Gargano Priest, and we could, you know, pull out all the same old tricks with having those two guys fuck around with each other. But now you got a guy like Leon Ruff, a guy who has traditionally been a jobber, who obviously has some chops. I mean, he is an athletic motherfucker.
No, I've seen him on Evolve. He's no joke.
He is no joke. Now people know his name. Damian Priest, even as a babyface, is well within his rights to fuck with Johnny Gargano and fuck Johnny Gargano out of the North American belt that Johnny Gargano used heel tactics to get the belt off of Damian Priest in the first place. Damian Priest, after this segment this week, when he DQ'd him, which, you know, it's pro wrestling. It's fine.
It's fine.
They want to tell a long-term story. This seems like a multi-week arc, which I'm completely fine with. Damian Priest in the segment backstage with Regal and Ruff. Damian Priest looked like he legitimately felt bad because Ruff was like, oh, I'm a joke. And he's like, listen, man. He's like, that's not what I was. He's like, you know, I'm sorry if that's the way it made you feel. It seemed like a genuine. Maybe Damian Priest can just fucking act. I don't know.
I was feeling the same way. It was a pretty good act.
It seemed like he was pretty good.
I think he's a really good actor.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say the look on his face felt genuine.
Then to have Leon Ruff smack him across the face, that's what that character would do and should do if that character has any pride. He's not being treated as comedic. He's being treated as...
He's not.
Now he's not. Last week was a little different, but they decided to keep it going. And then the segment later on, when Leon Ruff got the better of both of them, I loved it. Gargano is doing a tremendous job as the chicken shit heel. Gargano,
the guy who hates wheels.
Obviously,
for no an irrational reason, like I hate Yano, but I mean, nonetheless, he still hates the wheels.
I just think it's the best use of all three guys, especially if it doesn't make for boring television. And now I want to see this triple threat between these three guys. You know why? Because
you're a nerd.
I'm a nerd who loves triple threats.
I will agree with you on that, just in the sense that now it's gotten interesting up until the point where.
It's certainly more interesting than Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano again for another few months.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
Thank you.
My two problems with it was, number one, Leon Ruff wasn't necessarily introduced to the NXT universe, quote unquote, and we just threw him in, and then the next thing you know, he's the champ, or at least the North American champion. I mean, damn, the only reason I knew who Leo Rush is because I watch an insane amount of wrestling. Those who don't don't know who the hell this dude is. So
not
all of a
Leo
sudden,
Rush, Leon Ruff.
Leon Ruff. Did I say Leo Rush?
Yeah.
I must have MLW on my mind.
Well, they're both little black guys that sound. I mean, their names sound.
But I
the
know
same.
who the difference between the two are.
Just saying, their
God
names sound the same.
Look, when you can tell the Young Bucks apart, then start talking shit. My point is,
white people apart.
But I can tell black people apart. Leon Ruff should have been built up and then have him face Gargano. If you want to take the title off him at that point, so be it. This just felt so WWE main roster. Here comes this guy. We plop him into the deep end. He wins the title unexpectedly. And then from that point, it's been kind of a little wishy-washy until he smacked the shit out of fucking Damian Priest and defended himself in the ring. Now I got respect for him. I like Leon Ruff to begin with. It was just the way that we got to this point was just kind of...
I just want to point out that I can't tell the Young Bucks apart. I don't know who the members of FTR are, and I don't know who Tegan Knox or Dakota Kai are. But I can definitely tell the difference between Leo Rush,
Shut up,
and Leon Ruff if you put them side by side. So maybe that makes me the least racist person that there is.
I can only tell them apart when you put them head to toe. I can't tell side by side.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
All right, Zach, what else?
69 position. Anyway.
I knew what you meant.
Yes. So we had another title match, which was much better than this title match. It was Rhea Ripley versus Jurai, which is the only match that I knew of going into this week, and so I would look forward to it all week. Unfortunately, whenever Finn Balor still hadn't come out, I kind of guessed at the finish here, which made it a little less exciting, but it was still a banger match because I didn't think you were going to have a big Rhea Ripley title celebration with another segment behind it. But that's just a little nitpick. It was a really good match, and I think Rhea has to go to the main roster from here. I think maybe she fills up one of those spots in Survivor Series. I feel like that's the most logical thing is you send her up. She's got nothing to do on NXT. Send her up, have her be a sole survivor, and try to turn her into a star because she's got the star power, and start challenging, working a program with somebody running through gals up there. But what do you guys think? The match was awesome. It was super cool TV match. EO is still great. Nothing much to say.
It was a tremendous TV match. It was an A+. For a TV match, that was easily 4 stars.
It was easily 4 stars.
Doesn't get much better.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it maybe even 4.5.
Since we're already in the grade mode.
They are they complement each other so well.
Yeah.
And they work together so well. And it was a ton of fun. And I put on Twitter how much I liked the match, and somebody said, oh, you watch that instead of AEW? It's I watch them both at the same time, and when it comes to main event, I decide which one is more intriguing to me at the moment, and then I stick with that for the entire main event, and I stuck with Ripley EO, and I felt rewarded by it.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, even with whatever happened after the fact with Finn Balor or whatever, the match itself, I wish they would have waited just because it just felt like a TakeOver match, and TakeOver is right around the corner. So for me, I felt like it was maybe done a week or two ahead of schedule, but nonetheless, it was done well. Very few complaints about it, if any at all. I agree with you, 2Beer, at this point. Rhea Ripley doesn't have too many more options on the NXT roster. I hadn't even thought about the fact of her moving up to Survivor Series for Sunday, but that is a definite possibility because, it's not like they don't have to travel or anything like that. All in all, I thought the match was really good. I was kind of disappointed because I thought that Rhea Ripley was going to win, but I didn't even trip off the fact that you were talking about Finn Balor's coming up with the his press conference or whatever, not even press conference, but promo or whatever after the match. So it kind of, when you say that, it kind of gave away the ending. But I was so more mad about the fact that they were doing commercial breaks during the title match. I didn't even think about the fact that they were giving away the finish without trying to give away the finish. Oh, that's just me talking. Okay, well, shit, I could talk for a little bit. What the hell?
Sorry, I had myself on mute because my neighbor has puppies across the street, and I brought my kids out just to look at them, and they're adorable. I guess their dogs had puppies, and they're just running around the backyard.
What kind of puppies we got?
I don't know. They got big dogs. Like they got Great Danes, so it might be Great Dane on Great Dane action. I don't really know.
Jesus Christ, that sounds absolutely horrible. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
there's like
the
6 of 'em.
visual. Oh, Jesus, 6. Good Lord.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there better be more than one female over there. Otherwise, that female is in some problems. Good God.
No, I think it was all one. They're all like the same size. Sextuplets.
Stop. See, you ain't shit. I'll say, you ain't supposed to be putting no dog out there like that by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, good Lord. Go ahead, Bill. Give us thoughts about the main event.
About the Rhea Ripley Jurai?
Yeah, never mind.
Yep.
You already did it.
I already did it.
Okay, we're good. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I can move on then. So then we had we had some other stuff on the match. We had Toni Storm and Ember Moon continue to lose, right? They lost, didn't they?
They did lose.
Yeah.
A little fuckery from Candice and Indy Hartwell to kind of distract the referee, and that's how the heels get the win. Basically, this is for, I'm assuming, the setup for the women's war games where you would have, it feels like Dakota, Raquel Gonzalez, Candice LeRae, and Indy Hartwell versus, obviously now, Toni Storm, Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart would be a safe guess, and then the fourth woman, I couldn't even begin to guess at this point. Maybe it's the woman that Boa and Xia Li are running from. That was a weird segment. Maybe it's her.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes.
No, fuck that. We got to talk about that bullshit. Because, see, that's where I have problems with NXT. And that's the difference between NXT on the week-to-week show when it was on the network and it produced matches that at least had I shouldn't say have storyline sense. It wasn't blindfold matches that felt like Raw or SmackDown. Okay? This was a main roster match. And it was supposed to be comedy. And like I said, I'm not the guy for the comedy matches. Bill kind of gave it the palate cleanser term. I'm gonna stick with that. For me, it's a palate cleanser. Other people like that shit. For me, this was just silly.
This wasn't my favorite Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis outing. It is getting a little tiresome, which is, only underscores why I like the Leon Ruff injection into that other feud, just because it keeps it from getting boring and it keeps it from getting predictable. This was not my favorite. Cameron Grimes, I'm ready for both these guys to get a little bit more serious. I know that you don't like comedy matches at all. I'm not.
No, I won't say that. I won't say that.
I love Cameron Grimes, man. Like, I'm tired of the Dexter Lumis thing. Like, it's just overwrought. Like, I've been hard on Dexter Lumis, but like Cameron Grimes, every week this guy is entertaining, even if he's not in the best spot that I would like him to be in. He's still entertaining me, and
that to me is the biggest issue. Is the reason why I can accept, quote unquote, what's going on over here. Cameron Grimes is entertaining, and even if you don't like him, if you don't like him, then he's doing his job. He's being irritating. He's being a good heel. Dexter Lumis is just out there. There's been no direction for him pretty much from the start. Maybe he's a heel. Maybe he's a face. Maybe he's a tweener. He's with Velveteen Dream. He's going against, Undisputed Era. Now he's, wrestling Cameron Grimes. I mean, he's just all over the place and no place all at the same time.
I mean, yes. I mean, I kind of wish that they'd get away from each other at this point.
At this point, yeah. I'm waiting for them to move on.
They're almost too different. It's almost like they're in different programs or something.
Not really, because I mean, it's obviously they're in the same program. It's just it doesn't.
Yeah, Jason.
It doesn't translate, motherfucker. Okay, that's what it boils down to. When I see them with blindfolds, getting ready to get into the ring, my eyes roll. Okay, it's not. Cameron Grimes needs to be going after Leon Ruff, and then you could put Dexter Lumis in the title picture if you want to. Have him lose to whoever the champion is. That's fine. That works for me. Go like that.
Have we talked about Timothy Thatcher and Champa getting ready to go at each other?
No.
Now,
I think that's a very solid match. I think the build-up is dumb. Like, I didn't like Ciampa's tough guy promo last week. It was cut out of I know something happened this week. It was cut out of my Hulu version that I watched because they cut a couple segments.
So Thatcher went over August Gray, and then Champa came out and I guess he hit him or something, didn't he?
No, I didn't touch him. Thatcher was like, "Hey, I ain't got
Thatcher
no problem
wasn't
with
a part of
you."
him. And then, that's right. And then Champa cut a promo backstage, and the gal was like, "What was that all about?" And Champa goes, well, I mean, was it mysterious? He's like, "I want to fight Timothy Thatcher." And so it looks like we're getting a Thatcher-Champa feud, which
I'm for that.
has some real potential.
Yeah, it at least gives Cross more time to come back, and this is a matchup we haven't seen before. So, I mean, just in that sense, it's intriguing. They're both like evil little bastards that, wouldn't hesitate to rip off their mom's arm to beat you with it. So, I mean, in that scenario, this is something that interests me. Even if it's a one-off, which it kind of feels like it's probably going to be, I think I would really just want to see how this match unfold.
Absolutely, me too. Kushida got a squash. Zach, I'm kind of stealing your 2 count. Anything else that we want to talk about here?
The return of Finn Balor comes out.
Yeah.
Gets interrupted by what's their group name? Pat McAfee's
the Kings of NXT.
Kings of NXT.
Kings of NXT. That's okay.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. I don't
hate it.
It's not good. It's not bad. It's okay. It could. I've
love
heard
the
worse
Inner
faction
Circle.
names.
I didn't love the Inner Circle at first, but now I'm super into it. So I'll give him a few weeks.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say. I think that we can grow into that.
But the faction is dope. The faction
is really exciting.
If Ridge Holland was healthy, it would be even better, because I think then, and this is not a knock against Pat McAfee, because obviously he's gotten himself over in the ring. You could put Pat McAfee outside of War Games and have legitimately 8 wrestlers with Ridge Holland.
Pat McAfee is better. Pat McAfee is better in the ring than Ridge Holland is. Ridge Holland.
I'm not.
Ridge Holland isn't he some famous rugby player or something?
Yes.
Isn't that his deal?
Yes.
I mean, he's green as fuck. I mean, he
Very
almost killed Johnny Gargano with that. It was kind of like a one-winged angel, kind of like turning him under pile driver
supposed
thing.
To be a power slam.
He almost fucking killed him.
I understand that. Okay.
Pat McAfee is way safer.
Okay, if you want to go
and took the super kick like a motherfucker last night.
Okay, I'm not sitting up here and saying I'm not disagreeing with you. Pat McAfee is an anomaly when it comes to wrestling. Guys like Pat McAfee shouldn't just, in my opinion, and I'll put this in quotes once again, quote unquote, jump in the ring and do what he does, speak the way he speaks. It's literally
Jay Leno.
He's literally natural in this scenario where it's scary how natural he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Ridge Holland for me, makes sense because he's a quote unquote real wrestler. Do I have a problem with Pat McAfee in this War Games match? Hell no. Let's see how he really jumps into the deep end. But for just pure wrestling purposes, Pat McAfee for me is a manager. Okay, so let him be on the outside, have some chaos on the outside, do the fuckery out there, let the wrestlers wrestle. But don't make no mistake, he'll come into this War Games match and do very well.
What did you think about Balor's promo, Zach?
I thought it was super cool. Like, Balor is like definitely a good promo. He's much better when he is on top, because like he's a top guy, right? Like he's not one of those guys that can hang around a mid card like and succeed, right? And just like, and he'll always be solid like with his work rate, but like he's a legit top guy. And I don't think anybody could like argue that. And then when he said the cat's away and the mice will play, but look what the cat drug in, and then we actually have the full on Undisputed Era face turn that we've been waiting for. Whoo! Oh, man.
So that was going to be my next question to you, Zach. Is that the first official face turn of the Undisputed Era?
Probably, because they've worked as faces, like in individual matches. Like, you know, Adam Cole's like kind of worked as a face, like here and there. But I feel like, and like Kyle O'Reilly just did, in that last match,
He certainly
championship
did.
match where Balor broke his jaw. But I feel like this is like the first full-on time that Undisputed Era are heels, even though they've been cheered a lot. So in that sense, especially with the Adam Cole and the Finn Balor connection, I feel like we now have a face Bullet Club in NXT, and it's super exciting.
Well, when he
if
said,
they keep that thing together.
and look what the cat dragged in, and Undisputed Era's music hit, like, I kind of felt like marking out.
I marked out. I'm not even going to lie.
I popped hard.
But I'll say
I don't even know why I didn't think of it.
I didn't think of it until TBZ just said it, but I don't think that's where we're going. I think Finn is going to do Finn. Undisputed is going to do Undisputed.
Oh, I agree. I don't think that Finn's part of Undisputed or anything, but
It's just an alliance.
For that moment, and you know,
for right now, the enemy of my enemy is my friend type shit. So for this scenario, it can work. I'm not going to sit up here and think that Adam Cole is never going to go after Finn Balor for the title at a later point. It could easily happen. The final segment was really good. This is one of those times where I wish fans were in the building to gauge how well everybody else is taking it. I know me. I've been invested in it. I think Pat McAfee is an amazing fucking heel. Like I said, he has no business being as good as he is, a few months into the game. But he's made me gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I want to see his ass get handed to him.
I mean,
War Games.
I want to see McAfee work a crowd as a heel, Of course I want crowd, and watching that Brooklyn 3, which we'll get to, it's like, of course, like, you almost forget how cool it was to have crowds there all the time.
Yeah, I will admit I've taken it for granted for a little bit.
That would have been a huge pop. Like you said, if crowds were actually there, it would have been massive.
And this,
and it was such a good angle. And I don't know if you guys got to see, somebody posted on Reddit, which is the only reason I saw it. There was a network exclusive where Steve Regal is basically a meme at this point.
I did see it.
And oh man, it was so good. Like the Undisputed Era is screaming at him. They're like, "Say it, say it!" And like Kyle O'Reilly's like, "I'm begging you to say it, Regal." And like, so Regal just gets this like crazy look on his face and screams, "War Games!" Oh, it was so good. I wish they would have put that on TV.
No, it's a WWE exclusive, but I don't know if you could hear Kyle O'Reilly, saying, I'm begging you to say it, but basically the close up is. And shout out to Blood Girl Raven to put it on Twitter because that's where I saw it. You just see Regal just kind of look at Kings of NXT, look at the ring where Undisputed is, and then he screams out War Games. So, I mean, we knew it was going there. We just needed Regal just to come in and just put the stamp of approval on it.
And it's funny because last year I remember I got so mad because like they didn't even like do a build. You remember this? Like they just had like a big schmoz, and then Regal came out and said War Games, and I'm like, what is that kind of setup, like, War Games?
A year later,
and I'm like, 1 year later, I'm like, oh, he said the thing again.
I don't remember that at all.
I do remember it. It's one of the rare like big Zack Snap moments, and they're few and far between. That's the only reason I remember it. Outside of that, it probably just melted with everything else.
I guess the last thing that I'll say about NXT last night, if they were going to have that big moment at the end, I kind of wish they would have let off the show with Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley, just so it doesn't feel like, listen, Rhea Ripley going to the main roster kind of seems like the obvious move. That's a huge victory for Io Shirai after a great match, and you kind of want to let something like that breathe a little bit before you bring in Finn Balor and the other big angle. But that being said, I mean that's a nitpick. I mean I'm just being a little bitch about getting too much cool shit right in a row,
Yeah, right. I think we all kind of agree upon that. One of the others should have been separated, and I agree with you on this one, Bill. I think
basically,
this match.
You nutted and she just kept sucking. That's what happened.
Yeah, which is something, sometimes I see that happen in movies, and I'm like, what is she doing? That looks like it hurts. But
and also, like, what kind of life am I leading? Because that's not me.
This is why we get red flags on YouTube, boys and girls.
Probably. Sorry, guys. Moving on.
Let's get to that 3 counts.
That's great.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so, I said NXT was better, and now I'm looking back over my notes from AEW. AEW was really good. I'll save the bad for later, because there was something bad in this show that I don't want to start off with. I'm going to start off with probably the most. I'm going to start off with the most intriguing thing, which is Moxley got jumped in the backstage area before the Kenny Omega Moxley contract signing. Kenny Omega acted like Moxley was trying to duck him again. Omega, if you've watched enough wrestling, Omega clearly has something to do with this.
Oh shit!
But it does seem like a clear Omega. We're finally getting towards like a full-fledged heel, cleaner character. What are your thoughts on that, Jason?
Knee-jerk reaction was like, okay, this is some bullshit. Why we're not going to have this contract signed, even though I've been programmed to think that all contract signs were going to end up in some sort of bullshit melee at the end of it. I like this just for the simple fact that it made me stop and think, who could have jumped Moxley in the back? Okay, obviously Ken Omega is a prime suspect. Lance Archer is obviously a prime suspect. The outside the box thinking, now you have the Kenta conspiracy theorist coming out. Kenta's back in the United States, and he's coming, to get his U.S. title shot or whatever the case may be.
So is the theory that Omega actually didn't have anything to do with this?
I'm leaning with you just for the simple fact of how Kenny was acting. It was kind of like nonchalant, but not really. I kind of know what happened, but if he was really in kayfabe style, if he was really like that concerned, I think you kind of play into it more. Kenny was just kind of like, this is what John does. He hides from me from the elbow. Now he's got a bloody nose.
Could it have been Hangman?
Hangman Page is a suspect.
That was my thought.
So that's what I'm saying. In this scenario...
that's my favorite one I've heard so far.
In this scenario, we've created the who shot fill in the blank scenario. In this case,
JR?
Okay. So there's legitimately 3 guys on the roster, and then the 4th conspiracy theory with Kenta.
Zach, nobody shot JR. That's called Bell's palsy.
That hit me harder than this new distillate that I have here.
I'm sorry, everybody. Anybody who's listening, I am sorry for that joke. Jason's gone. Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, I do wish that Kenny would have cut a promo because he finished it out, and like Tony Schiavone's like, he's like, what, that's it? And Kenny's like, yeah, that's it. And he just like got out of the ring. I was like, this thing's in like 2 weeks. I'm like, you cut a promo to like, and you don't really need to sell Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. Like, this is the biggest match that they've had on Wednesday night, like in the history of the company for sure. But I mean, sell it to me.
Oh, that's on a Wednesday night?
Yeah, it's December 2nd.
So Winter's Coming is a yeah. I'm not going to be here for that podcast that week. Fuck.
Where are you going? Is there some fish show in a bubble?
I'm going to Cancun.
Oh, hell no. You are definitely not. You are quarantined for 3 weeks. When you come back, we'll see you in 2021.
Sorry. So I just got totally thrown off. No, I didn't. I thought Winter is Coming is a pay-per-view.
No.
Anyway,
no,
as far as
in 2 weeks.
As far as contract signings go, that's better than
a regular
contract.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm so Jedi mind tricked when I hear the words contract sign. I'm thinking, okay, which 5 people are going to come out and fuck this thing up? So
Jason about to powerbomb himself through his own table.
You have no idea. The cast were looking at me like, oh my God, he's losing his mind again. But no, all in all, it worked itself out, and we have, more importantly, something to kind of spin off with for the next couple weeks. You don't have to. Moxley can stay off TV for 2 weeks, or at least a week, and kind of build this thing up and have him come back the following week if you want to go that route.
I would say the next.
Well, the following week is the match. Like, he needs to come back next week and cut a promo.
Yeah, it is 2 weeks. God, man, 2020 has me all fucked up with time.
I would say the next most intriguing thing that happened was we had Pac versus Blade. And you know what? I might have been too hard on the Butcher and the Blade when they first joined AEW. They can work, and they're fun to watch.
They're awesome, man. They're another welcome addition to an already stacked tag team.
What are you making that face for?
No, it's cool.
I admit that I'm wrong all the time.
It's just refreshing. It's just refreshing. I mean, look, I hate to admit when I'm wrong, okay? I love being right, and I hate to admit when I'm wrong.
Well, my ego's not as big as yours.
This is true, but I mean, that's neither here nor there.
Yours is not as big as his.
Zach, stop.
You motherfucker, you beat me to it.
Unbelievable. But Pac fought Blade.
No, Blade is the shit. No question about it.
I wouldn't call him the shit, but he doesn't suck.
No, dude. You're going to sit up here and tell me you weren't more impressed coming out of this match than you were coming into this match?
That's why I said it, Jason. Why else would I would have fucking said it unless that's what I thought?
Okay, so that's my fucking point. Maybe he's not the shit. He's not going to win the title anytime soon.
Here's the thing, though. When I admit that I'm wrong, it's like you want me to keep admitting that I'm wrong.
Yeah, I like the confession.
No, I already did it.
I like the confession. Okay,
you ain't even Catholic. Fuck off.
I'm the cops at this point. Where were you at last night, motherfucker?
Kingston came out. I mean, you just... Anyway, Death Triangle got back together last night.
He's all flustered.
Death Triangle wasn't together very long, but they had a lot of fucking promise.
Agreed.
And Eddie Kingston's little faction wasn't together that long with Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers. And they split them up, and now they're two teams of three, which I'm completely fine with. It almost made me think that they're going to have a six-man belt.
The trios title,
they totally should.
Yeah, it's time.
They have enough people.
We've talked about
this. They also have the best friends in Orange Cassidy. They have
there's SCU as a whole, Jungle Express.
Yeah.
They got
Jurassic Express to me screams of a trios title in some form or fashion. I'll just say this: as long as we're going to say about stuff that we were wrong about, I will admit that I was wrong about the fact that I thought this was going to be a Rey Fénix solo face turn where Pentagon was going to stay with Kingston and the family. So when Pentagon came out, I was really looking for Pentagon to take Phoenix's head off. And then when
forgot about Death Triangle.
That was probably the backup if they couldn't get Pac back in the States. Honestly, that's probably they ran that program probably as a backup.
And that makes sense. I won't say I forgot about it until Pentagon came out and Phoenix came out. It wasn't really a thought process. But when the story started to come out, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, then this makes sense. So at the end of the day, I'm good with it. I really wanted to see a Rey Fénix singles face run because I think he's got a shit ton of potential. Easily could be the TNT title.
I'm looking for a Nick Jackson singles run. I'm just
Which
waiting.
Was that?
I might as well get my sundial out. But we did have another 3-man group that was awesome too. Sorry, I'm stealing Bill's thunder on his count, but Will Hobbs joined FTW, which was a nice swerve. They don't do swerves that often, and it's not even really a swerve. I shouldn't even call it that because it's really not. AEW doesn't swerve. It was just
it's a turn. It's a heel turn.
It was definitely a turn. It was a heel turn, and it was a well executed one.
I'll say this: I didn't really see it coming until it was too late. Where Will Hobbs is in the ring and he had the title and standing next to Cody, I'm like, oh, and you could tell why the way he's holding the title is like, uh-oh. And the next thing you know is I didn't even have the words in my mouth. He's getting ready to hit, and then he takes Cody out, and then the next thing you know, you got a new member of Team Taz. It's swerve-ish at the least. I mean, for a long, long time, Will Hobbs was not trying to have anything with Team Taz, not trying to hear anything with Team Taz. Basically, giving them the Heisman. Now all of a sudden, he's a part of Team Taz.
If Lucha Chris was here,
he feels like a guy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. He feels like a real guy.
If something just flew at my nose. If
there's a joke there.
No, did you see that?
I just saw the delayed reaction, but go ahead.
No, something just flew at my nose.
Yeah, nothing illegal happened at that point.
No.
Sorry, it just flew up my nose.
It's a Thursday. It's not a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So I want to piggyback off of what I said last week, which is This Team Taz has really come together for me. I really like them as a squad. I like the addition of Will Hobbs.
Mm-hmm.
They seem for real.
Now I feel like they're really for real. This feels like a faction.
I didn't see the Will Hobbs heel turn coming because they've made him look like such a white meat babyface up until this point.
Agreed.
Very cool. I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue with the coolness. Young Bucks, Top Flight, obviously. They have bigger plans for Top Flight. The Young Bucks gave their stamp of approval at the end by shaking their hands and chasing off TH2, who attacked Top Flight. Those guys look really young. Are they twins or are they just brothers? I know they're brothers, but are they
21
brothers?
and 19?
Yeah, I don't think they're like fraternal or identical twins or anything like that. But they are the.
Is there another kind of twins?
Fraternal or identical?
Conjoined.
Oh yeah,
Siamese
twins. Yeah,
they're not Siamese twins.
No, they're not Siamese twins. At least I would like to.
Shout out to the most underrated comedy of the last 30 years, Stuck on You, with Matt Damon and Greg Kinnear. You guys watch it; it's fucking awesome. Okay, go ahead.
It is
The
pretty
Farrelly
good.
Brothers movie.
Yeah.
It's tremendous. It's one of my 10 favorite movies. When I got married, I went to Bed Bath & Beyond to register for stuff for people to buy for us.
Stop.
And I registered for the Stuck on You DVD in the DVD bin. It was like $3, and nobody got it for me.
I'd have been quick.
It would have been $3.
Give me that, girl.
Oh, let me spend $80 on towels.
Get that $3 DVD, girl. It's on the list.
Man, I wish I would have looked at your wedding registry. Instead, I just didn't even come to your wedding.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I remember.
I had a pregnant wife that was gave birth a couple days later. So
really, that's what it was? It was pregnancy?
Yeah, she was about to pop. Otherwise, we would have been there. I would have done way too much of everything.
Well, we missed you.
I was saying it's probably a good thing you didn't go there. Now I forgot the fuck what I was getting ready to say.
Sorry.
You're talking about Top Flight.
Top Flight, Gory Pro Tag Team Champions. I didn't know that until I talked to Tinder Mahal this afternoon. So there's a local connection there. But you can easily tell that this is the next, I guess, evolution or next team that's on the horizon. Private Party, now Top Flight. Not saying that either guys are going to be tag team champions anytime soon, but you've at least opened the door for these guys to be able to show their talent on a national stage, on Dynamite, which pretty much everybody that's an AEW fan watches. So, I mean, for them, that was a really cool moment. And it didn't look like they shrank from the moment. You know what I'm saying? They looked like they felt like they were.
Not at all. Yeah, I agree.
They felt like they were in the match. And at least one time where I was like, they weren't going to win, but it was just like, oh. You had that moment, which that's all you can ask for. They were not going to win, but you teased me to the point where, okay, maybe this looks like the point where Matt can't, move around with the ankle. Great angle, by the way. Continuing the ankle injury is so good. Dude,
it's like the new thing. Remember Matt's back and
now it's the ankle
or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they don't get away from certain angles where other wrestling organizations, I'm not going to name names,
WWE,
that will get away from it 2 minutes into the match or whatever the case may be. So
there's only two guys in WWE that I can think of off the top of my head that sell the night after a pay-per-view on Raw, and it's Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I can't even think of another guy that will go through hell the night before and then at least limp a little bit when he's coming down to the ring on Monday night. It's something that
Daniel Bryan would if they put him on TV.
Right. It's one of those things where a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm not saying that Matt Jackson.
They used to do it all the fucking time,
without question. Okay, but that was a different age where
even The Rock though and shit would sell the next night.
Yeah.
I mean, that was something that you were expected to do. You were expected to sell.
In a Hell in a Cell match, I don't think you should come out the next night and just be like, let me beat Bop to the ring. There should be some sort of collateral damage.
Totally agree.
Matt Jackson is doing it, but he's doing it, weeks after the fact, which makes it even better.
All right, now for the bad.
I'm kind of curious. I know what one bad part about is. No, he tweeted one bad part about that, and I want to push back on that a little bit.
I'll start off with the women's division.
Yeah.
You didn't like that women's match?
No, I did like the women's match. I didn't like that I didn't like that there were only 2 women's segments on the show. Not that there weren't.
That's more than what you usually get.
Hold on. But both of them were just complete schmaz fests. Even after the Thunder Rosa Serena Deeb match, there was all sorts of people out there doing all sorts of shit. Am I wrong? I mean,
you're talking about when Rebel came,
Britt Baker and Reba and whoever else came out there, and it was just a big schmaz fest. The other thing looked like I don't know,
Jade and Brandy or whatever backstage.
Yes, it was the same thing that we were talking about last week. Like, why did they turn Brandy Rhodes into a character from the fucking Maury Povich show? It's like, when did that happen? Like, I don't. It's wrestling. Like, I don't mind a little bit of chaos, but both those segments, it's like, wait a minute. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why can't we just have? Why can't Thunder Rosa be against Serena Deeb and there be a winner and a loser and it's just like a regular segment? You know what I mean? Am I?
Two Beer, you want this? You want me to go first?
Am I being too sensitive?
No, I think it's just kind of a level of expectation that AEW is like giving us. Like, they usually do give us pretty clear winners and losers with not a whole lot of interference. So whenever you do have interference, and also like the interference actually didn't even like involve the finish of the match, it was just interference, and then like they still went and like had the match. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like Britt screwed her and then she got pinned like immediately or anything. Like, they still wrestled for a little while.
Well, it just seems like they felt like they need to get everybody on the show
on TV.
So
I think that will change when we get that extra hour, which would have already happened if not for the pandemic. But no, I totally feel you. Yeah, it was almost like you were trying to just fit as many females into the camera frame as possible.
Yes.
During that time.
Yes. So. Jason, thoughts? No, I thought Serena Deeb versus Thunder Rosa was good. Of course.
Yeah, without question. But the bad, I'll just say it for this. I kind of shot my load with on Tinder Mahal about the women's division earlier today.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's a hell of a sentence.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Joe. Anyway, my biggest problem with this was if they're not using their own talent. If Serena Deeb is signed with AEW, okay, fair enough. But if she never got a release from WWE, we wouldn't have this woman that is now the NWA champion. Obviously, Thunder Rosa is not an AEW star, even though she's basically been on AEW TV for the last month and a half, whatever the case may be. Jade Cargill, I don't even really know who she is.
Nobody does.
And that's kind of a problem where now she's just, well, people know her. I just don't know her. So I guess for me personally, that's where the problem is. She's popped out of the blue, and now I'm supposed to, I guess, accept the fact that she's just going to come in and just start stomping Brandy's arm underneath this chair. There's this connection with, Nyla Rose and Vicky now. It's a lot. They're doing a lot and not getting anything done, really, especially with their own talent. Big Swole hasn't been on TV since she lost to Sheeta. Penelope Ford hasn't been on TV since she lost to Sheeta. I shouldn't say that. She was on Dark last night, but half of us watch Dark, the other half of us don't. So, I mean, I guess that's where my problem is.
There's 3 of us.
Okay, in this room, who watches AEW Dark and who doesn't?
There is no half. Oh, so you're not including Zach because he's not in the room.
Well,
I don't watch Dark, man.
Okay, so like I said, half of us
I'm not calling you. I didn't call you Dark Man. I said I'm not watching Dark Man.
At least I'm not 3/5 this week.
I'm not watching, Dark Man.
Yeah, right. Well, at least I'm a whole man. 3/5 I was 200 years ago. Anyway, but you get where I'm going with this on this.
Yeah.
The bottom line is that they're not investing in their own division when they've got women that they can do it with. You know what I'm saying?
I totally agree.
It could be better. It's just like you said. Now it's just like, here's our mandatory women's match, and then here's this angle that we're trying to do with Jade and Brandy, and now we're throwing Vicky and
if ever I were in doubt, if I was booking the territory, if ever I were in doubt, I would book a tournament. That would make that have a couple matches a week that are leading up to the number one contender against Shida. We've already spent too much time talking about their women's division. It's garbage. It's garbage. And it's not because of the talent. It's because of the booking.
The way they're booking it is bad. Anna Jay having a title match against Shida is laughable for next week.
Now, I want to get to what I really hated.
Uh-oh.
Which was
this is what you really hated?
The Inner Circle stuff.
Wow.
I just want to know what was so offensive about it. I'm not saying
let him go. Let him go.
I'm not saying it was top stuff. I'm just wondering, like, why
it couldn't have been that bad. We've seen. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, Zach and I agreed when Jericho and MJF had their segment where they were singing together. That was something, because that is two talented dudes doing talented things. That Vegas shit is high school level sketch comedy. It wasn't funny. Nothing they did was funny. Nothing they did was interesting. The cameos by Conan and Hornswoggle were stupid. It was like a hangover thing. I didn't get it at all. It's pretty much the exact opposite of what I want AEW to be. I don't want AEW to be sports entertainment. Now, I want it to be pro wrestling, which allows for some sports entertainment, but this took up way too much time of a 2-hour show that I look forward to every week. Tell me where I'm wrong.
I mean, I won't say you're wrong. That's totally your opinion. It's fine. It definitely was a rehash of The Hangover. I think the biggest problem that I had with it was, if you're rehashing The Hangover, like, who do you expect to be at the end of The Hangover? It's Mike Tyson, because he's literally in the movie, and we just had an angle that went nowhere with Mike Tyson, and I was like, oh, Mike Tyson's definitely showing up in Vegas, and then he didn't. But, like, you can see some of the comedy missing. I thought the best thing about the whole thing was the furtherization, which is not a word.
It is now.
The plot with Wardlow and Jake Hager, where they're both just like homoerotically staring at each other every scene. They're just like staring each other down, and they just start punching guys in the face because they can't punch each other in the face because they're both in the inner circle, so they both like have to show how tough they are by beating other people up. That was my favorite part. But I mean, valid criticisms is totally fine if it didn't like resonate like with you.
It was just too cute. Like I'm starting to think that Jericho has gotten away with too much cute stuff, and now it's getting saccharine sweet. That's honestly what I think. Like, I thought, I was watching that last night, and Jericho was the one pissing me off the most.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he has a lot of leeway, like with Tony Khan, because I mean, obviously Tony Khan like respects the dude because he seems to be able to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's a fucking legend. I mean, he should be able to do what he. If Tony Khan's like my age, maybe even younger. If I was booking something and Jericho told me he wanted to do something, I would be like, okay, do whatever you want.
It would be hard to say no.
But it's getting to be too cute.
I'll say this. I agree with Two Beard that this was basically the AEW's version of The Hangover. That said, I can't say I didn't laugh multiple times, especially, with Sammy basically calling out MJF in a drunken moment of, honesty. We've all done it. There's that motherfucker that you don't like, and then you just say, hey, I don't like you. Well, I don't like you either. Well, that's the shit that was funny. Hotboxing in the limo. I'm sorry. Been there, done that. To me, that's funny as fucking shit. I agree with you with the cameos or whatever. Conan, to me, just kind of extends that bridge of over to AAA. Hey, there's the AAA connection or whatever the case may be. Hornswoggle's a little different. That was totally from right field. I didn't understand that. But, hey, Hornswoggle, get your money, player. I ain't mad at you, especially in the middle of the pandemic.
Can I bring up a couple other things that I fucking hated about it? I hate it. First of all, I hate when people act drunk and they're acting like they're acting drunk. Like, I've been around enough drunk people to know when it doesn't look like they're acting drunk, when it looks like they're actually drunk. I just hate that cartoonish bullshit acting. 2, and I think that both of you guys are going to back me up on this. Zach certainly will. If you're going through a progression from the easiest shot to do to the hardest shot to do, and you start off with slippery nipple, and then you bump up to tequila, and then you go back to rum?
Dude, actually, he went back to vodka and then to rum. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's so then, and then Jericho goes 100
to rum.
And then Jericho goes 100 proof Everclear. Brother, Rumble Mints is 100 proof. Everclear's 200 proof. Just as a little nitpick, as an actual
alcoholic,
as an actual drunk, as an actual drunk.
The alcohol comes out.
I hated it. I hated it so much.
Okay. That is fair. Just the simple fact, if you want to play the one-upsman game as people that are in the industry that know how much alcohol is in what, I will agree with you upon that. Fair enough.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I just don't see what the problem is. And this is coming from the guy.
It just wasn't funny.
Okay. Well, I will say one thing, too, and another thing that AEW conditions us, there's not a lot of out-of-the-ring action. So if you look at AEW, like, holistically throughout its history, you don't see, like, out-of-the-ring action, whether it's backstage or off-site. Like, that's kind of BTE realm. Like, sure. So I think those and I don't even mean, like, off-site. Like, it's always, like, around the ring. So, like, whenever we don't see things that are right around the ring, I think that already kind of throws a regular viewer of AEW off. And if it doesn't resonate, then they're just like, this was dumb. It's not what I expect out of the brand. I expect, ABC. And this was like offbeat, right?
Well, right. I think it was supposed to be offbeat, though, right? I mean, at the end.
Oh, for sure.
It was supposed to be offbeat. It just wasn't funny.
Of what you expect to see when you tune into the brand. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not asking for MJF to be, best comedian in a performance by anybody. Him acting drunk was just good enough to where, as I see him walking, sideways, it made me giggle. Why? Because I've done that. I've been that dude. That's what was funny about it. He wasn't trying to, be this great actor or anything like that. It was just doing enough to say, hey, I'm a little fucked up. And then as the night progressed, he got more fucked up. What's funnier than him holding a bottle of rosé at the end of the night? Absolutely fucking hilarious.
Oh, there's tons of stuff that's funnier than that. Anyway, I just wanted to say that segment sucked. AEW was good.
Stuck on you.
Stuck on you. Stuck on you is so much funnier. That's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
This is banned from ringside.
All right, guys, it's time for our NXT TakeOver Do-Over. This one coming after last week's Chicago 2, which was
it's a tall step to try to jump over. But
Chicago 2, is that the one where
I haven't introduced you yet.
I know, it's fine though.
Tinder Mahal's here, everybody.
Is Chicago 2 Gargano Champa like 2?
No, Chicago. Well, maybe it's Chicago. Was it Chicago? It might be Chicago 1. It was the one where Champa turns on Gargano at the end.
Okay, no, I went to Chicago 2, I think. It was the one before Money in the Bank.
That sounds like that would be...
It was the one where they tore the ring up and he DDT'd him on the ring.
Is that one on the boards? Is that 2? I think that sounds like 2.
Anyway, sorry, that's irrelevant, I guess.
No, damn it. Zach, beat the Johnny Gargano mark that we know you for. Which match is this?
Sorry, I had to get myself off of mute because I was coughing.
You had to get yourself off?
I do. Unfortunately, I did both. No, we just watched Chicago 1, which was in 2017. It was where the first turn happened.
No, that's not the one I saw. That's not the one I remember.
Yeah.
What's the one where they tear up the?
Where they tear up the ring?
Yeah, and the end is the DDT on the wood boards.
I think that is Chicago too.
Yeah, I went to that show. That was incredible.
So last week was the one that we did last week was Chicago 1. So we're going to be doing Brooklyn 3, and this one took place also in 2017 on August the 19th. So this would have been the SummerSlam takeover. First match was Andrade Cien Almas with the recently departed Selena Vega versus Johnny Gargano in a barn burner of a curtain jerker. Jason, I'll let you go ahead and give your star rating first.
A prelude of things to come. I gave it 3.75 stars. Can't talk. I really wanted to give it a 4-star. The only reason I didn't give it the 4-star was the ending where, and this is just personal bias, I hate the distraction finish, but this really actually worked when you stop to think about it, where Selena Vega throws Gargano the old DIY t-shirt, and it makes him kind of stop and look at the shirt and, reminisce about the things that were, and then Andrade comes in and basically takes it over, hits him with a hammerlock DDT and gets the win. If that wouldn't have happened, I would have just given it 4 stars flat out. For me, that's just a personal bias, so that's just my thing. And I kind of felt, weird giving a curtain jerker 4 stars off the bat. So that's why I'm going to stick with 3 3/4 stars.
Zach, I'm interested to hear what you have to say here.
It's funny. I actually had the same exact opinion about the finish. I won't kind of Jason. I had the same exact opinion about this finish. So, but I had a higher opinion of the match initially, so it went from 4.5 stars to 4 1/4. I just loved it. It almost stole the show as the curtain jerker. It didn't quite. No spoilers. Didn't quite steal the show, but it almost did.
I had 4 1/4 also. This match fucking ruled, and it only this, you can say this about a lot of different takeovers. This takeover especially underscored how they have misused a lot of these guys. Maybe it's just because I think so much of Andrade Cien Almas, another guy who I was wrong about. Not necessarily wrong about. I said that Del Rio was as good as Andrade Cien Almas in the ring. He might be a little bit less. Del Rio was underrated in the ring, though. And in fact, I'd like to employ Tinder Mahal here for this question. When you think about comparing about Alberto Del Rio and Andrade Cien Almas as in-ring performers, where do you fall?
I think Andres has a different style, He's got a more quicker style to him.
That's a cop-out. Which one's better?
I was about to say press him.
Hold on. That's not a cop-out at all. It's an honest answer.
Press him.
No, they're two different characters completely. They are.
Who's going to win, man? Damn. If you put him in the ring, who wins?
Like in a real fight?
No.
In kayfabe style.
Who's a better in-ring performer?
Andrade.
Okay.
See?
Coming up next, we have Sanity.
What a waste.
Sanity.
You guys brought me in for no reason.
Sanity versus AOP. And it was Sanity, which was Eric Young and Alexander Wolf. Killian Dane and Nikki Cross were on the sidelines against Authors of Pain. Sanity goes over.
I've totally forgot about that.
I forgot about that, too. Zach, star rating.
Totally surprised. I was 3.25. Even though these guys are super solid, you talk about underused and underutilized. I mean, Eric Young is one of those guys. But Alexander Wolf, totally forgettable. Couldn't even remember his name. I'm sorry, Alexander, if you're listening, but probably not. No.
He's too busy working on the fry side at Chili's.
It was
at Cooper's Hawk.
Totally fine. It was not the best, not the worst. I just didn't have strong feelings about it.
So you're giving it 3.25 stars?
It just didn't get me there.
I gave it 2 stars. I mean, it was fun.
Oh.
Authors of Pain I thought, I mean, the way you described it, you sound like you're describing a 1.5 star match, and then you say 3.25 stars. You know what?
It was like really like well worked, and like I like the it was like a little bit of a swerve at the beginning where you thought one was in, but then he tagged in Eric Young, and that like kind of raised the matchup for me because I think like I couldn't remember Alexander Wolf's work, but like Eric Young's like a good worker, Killian Dane's a good worker.
Authors of pain are good if they have good people to work with. If they're not working with good people, and as much as I like Eric Young and Alexander Wolf, who are both fine, they're not DIY. They're not fucking War Machine. Jason, how many stars did you give it?
I gave it 3.5 stars. The finish, I totally forgot which.
Marks!
No, it's not even a mark. No, it's not even a mark issue. The finish, I totally forgot about. Nikki Cross involvement, I think, gives it a little extra involvement just because you really didn't have any business with Nikki Cross being in this match, much less being at ringside. My biggest problem with this match was at the beginning was when you had sat there and basically, to me, the better match would have been Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane versus AOP. Eric Young brings in a different quality.
Grease fire. Motherfuckers are huge, man.
And it brought in a different quality when Eric Young comes in. But for me, it doesn't sit right. You know what I'm saying?
That's why
pick the team and be done with it.
That's why me and Zach didn't share a bed when we had that Airbnb up in Chicago with us three. Me and Zach would have started a grease fire. We need a skinny guy like you in bed with one of us.
I think we did share the bed, didn't we?
I don't know. You had to erase your Airbnb profile because that chick was so mad at us.
No, it's actually connected to your government ID, so I cannot erase it.
No! That's going with you forever.
Wasn't
she like, I found weed in the couch or something?
Yeah.
It's like, well,
she said illegal drugs. Obviously, this was pre-recreational Illinois.
That should bump us up a couple stars.
Yeah, no shit.
Next up, we had Hideo Itami versus Aleister Black. I'll go first. This was a really fun match. I liked it a whole bunch. Matt, you guys, when you like a match a whole bunch, you give it 4.5 stars. I liked it a whole bunch. I gave it 3.5 stars.
Dang.
Zach, go ahead.
Usually Jason's the harder grader, I feel like.
Yeah.
No. I'm the hardest grader.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
I have them all written down here. Like, trust me, I'm the harder grader.
Okay.
Do you want to go?
I give this 4 stars, like total more of like hard-hitting kind of New Japan style match, or just Japanese style match, not New Japan, just Japanese style match. Lots of hard kicks. These guys are like both awesome. It was cool to see a good Hideo Itami match because we look back on that run as kind of mediocre and riddled by injury, unfortunately. Especially considering like how good a work he did like before that. So, but yeah, like I gave it 4 stars. I like the match a lot, and I miss Aleister Black too. Like Kenta, I get to see Aleister Black is off in the ether. And
well, I mean, I really wonder what his status is now that his wife is gone. Jason, what you give it?
3.5 stars. Believe it or not,
we're both the hard graders.
I thought that this was
Zach's
probably
the
one.
softies.
I thought this was one of Hideo Itami's.
My wife.
Oh, see, you ain't shit. Man, you supposed to have some self-respect for yourself. God damn.
No, you're not.
Yeah, you are, man. Stand up for yourself. Don't be like that. Just be a man. Be like, I'm going to kick this shit tonight. 3.5 stars.
Jesus Christ. He's eating up.
I like the fact that Hideo Itami came back off of the milk carton, like you said, from injury, or just the fact that he wasn't paired with the right person, or just the chemistry wasn't right, whatever the case may be. This is probably one of the better matches he had since he came to NXT, and that's not saying a lot because the bar is pretty low when it comes to Hideo Itami matches, but this was one of the better ones. Aleister Black, I guess the scuttlebutt with him, to answer your question, is that he requested a move back to NXT, which was later denied. So he is in the ether of WWE at this point. I'm sure that he's going to be the next to go through tables in successive weeks. So, yeah, be worried for Aleister Black moving forward. But for the here and now, 3.5 stars.
Okay, next up we have Asuka and Ember Moon. 2Beer, I'll let you go first.
This match ruled. And you mentioned something earlier about watching this TakeOver do-over and the kind of reemergence of fan reaction to like kind of how you experience a match.
Mm-hmm.
And that is 100% with this match. Like, I gave this match 4.5 stars. I thought it was awesome. Like, the crowd was so hot. Like, whenever Asuka was pulling the trunks and the referee caught her, and then the near fall after the Eclipse, which is such an like transcendent kind of like finishing move, even though it's definitely not something you can work with your whole career. Like, she's gonna have to like transition from that eventually, but it's so like dynamic. This was like killer, and I think Ember and Asuka had some really like kind of transcendent women's matches in NXT, and it's unfortunate we can't relive that right now.
I gave it 4 stars. I love this match. It fucking ruled. Asuka's tweener persona really shone through here, where she'll do anything she can to win, but she's not necessarily a heel. But, man, she can work. Both these gals can work. I gave it 4 stars. Jason?
Surprise, surprise. We agree again. 4 stars for the boy. I thought about you in particular when Asuka got the Eclipse hit on her, and I knew everybody knows Asuka doesn't lose in NXT. So when Ember hits the Eclipse, I was like, fuck, Bill's getting ready to get pissed. And to a certain degree, I don't necessarily blame him. This is one of those times where if you wanted to take the title off of Asuka, this was the time to do it. Ember Moon was hot and was primed to take the title and kind of run with it, and then you could move Asuka up if you wanted to. Obviously, that didn't happen. It didn't change the fact that I thought this was one of the better Asuka matches, especially after the triple threat or the fatal 4-ways when you brought in 3 jabroni women and Asuka. So this was a nice step up for competition for Asuka. I gave it 4 stars.
All right, and last but not least, and then we're going to get Tinder Mahal in here for our Survivor Series predictions. Last but not least, we have, for the NXT World Championship, we have Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre. I'll go first. This was a match with all the fixins. This was a match where the crowd was super into it. This was a match with 2 great performers. This was a match that didn't quite get to where Johnny Gargano and Andrade were. If they would have been in the same spot, I gave it 3.75 stars. Jason.
Ooh, okay. I can't necessarily say I totally disagree with you.
We've been on the same page a lot.
But I think that obviously this is where we're going to change. You know me, I give credence to the entrance. I give credence to what happens after the fact. So going on that aspect, I gave it 4.25 stars. The entrances, obviously, when you bring in the bagpipes and the whole shebang for Drew McIntyre, Bobby Roode has his usual grade A entrance, but obviously the post-match introduction of Adam Cole cannot be buried at this point. We saw Fish and O'Reilly earlier in the evening, and then this was kind of the cherry on top, the reaffirmation of the fact that you can't just think that TakeOver is over when you see the credits. You can't leave anymore.
So
4.25 stars.
Just to be clear, when you're giving star ratings, you include the entrances and the post-match stuff. So do you take off stars for Undertaker matches because his entrance sucks so bad?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Well, he never shows up on NXT TakeOver.
Talk to me when we get there.
Undertaker's not going to be on NXT TakeOver.
I'm sure we're going to do something where we grade the Undertaker. Some Undertaker entrances are good. Others aren't.
All right, 2Beer. What you have for McIntyre or Roode?
Man. Sorry, I'm was dying laughing. Whoever was coughing through Jason's whole thing, I had to mute myself.
How can you hear that? I had my mic off.
No, I don't know. Like, maybe I heard it through your phone, but like maybe the audience can't hear it. But I had to mute myself, and they probably only heard me laughing.
Yeah, I don't think the audience could hear that.
I couldn't hear you.
They just heard me laughing all through Jason's talking.
Yeah, I was definitely coughing my way through it. I have COVID again.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Anyway,
Right in time for my birthday. Is that my birthday grill?
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
oh man, it was. I gave the match like 4 stars. I thought it was a really well worked main event. Pretty much like echoing Bill's sentiments. Like it was like super solid. Totally the beginning of Drew. It was like very apropos, right? I feel like this whole takeover was apropos because we had like the Selena Vega coming in with Andrade, like seeing her, and then also like seeing Drew like win a title. We just saw that this week too. Like I thought the symmetry was like really cool.
Don't we get... Oh, you know what next week is? Fuck, I can't believe this is 2017. You know what next week is?
It's War Games.
War Games.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I saw that today. That's going to be good.
Isn't there a McIntyre Andrade coming up?
I was going to say...
I'm not going to look through the whole thing. We got to get some
Jesus
predictions.
Christ.
Anyway, listen, next week on the TakeOver Do-Over, if you guys want to listen along with us.
Wait. We're doing next week? You know what next Thursday is, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so let's have
I'm
this
not gonna
discussion
be here,
now.
So we're not doing a show next Thursday.
Bill will be in Fiji watching fish.
I'm not going to be in Fiji watching fish.
Well, he might be in like
No, next week I'll
Arizona.
be here. We're not doing Thanksgiving. My family's not doing Thanksgiving.
right.
It's raging, everybody. The pandemic is raging.
No.
Yeah, I'll be here too if you guys want to do a show. So I'm just letting you know. I'm doing the same thing I'm doing right now.
I'll tell you.
I have no plans. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm not. I can do it too. I'm not.
All right, never mind. We're doing the show next week.
I'll tell you what. We'll keep you guys posted. I definitely won't be here 2 weeks from now.
That's fine.
I will be in Mexico.
No, that's fine. We'll just have Joey step in for you, bomb some predictions. It'd be no big deal.
That's fine. Joey can step in. Okay. Now it's time to do. Hold on. Some Survivor Series predictions. All right. So,
This fucking show.
how do you guys want to do this? Do you guys, if we're going to pick the Survivor Series matches, do we each try to pick one of the survivors for an extra 3 points?
Isn't that what we normally would do?
Yeah, I can't remember really the way that the points went. But you know what? Let's just kick it off anyway. Joseph, I'll let you go first.
Welcome to Whose Book Is It Anyway, where the points are made up and the finishes don't matter.
Wayne Brady would be proud.
We have the men's Survivor Series match, which is AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Matt Riddle. Or, I'm sorry, Riddle.
Jesus.
Versus Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and a TBD.
Can you repeat the question?
I feel like you have to read that 12 more times.
Fucking A.
What'd he say?
He said he feels like you're going to have to read that 12 more times. I already know what I'm going to pick, so I'm good to go.
All right, Raw or SmackDown? Who you taking?
SmackDown.
I'm sorry you guys got so stoned. So, Joey's taking SmackDown.
It's hard for me to remember who's on what brand.
Jason. AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Sheamus,
No, you don't have to repeat it.
Braun
You don't have to
Strowman,
repeat it.
Riddle.
You don't have to repeat it.
All right,
this is how much I was paying attention. I'm going to pick Raw to win.
Okay.
I'm going to pick Big E as the 5th member of SmackDown.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the survivors on Team Raw, I will pick AJ and Riddle. That's how much I was paying attention.
Zach, you're up next.
That was incredibly thorough. I do not have such grandiose plans. But I will go with Raw. And I will go as far to pick a lone survivor of Matt Riddle.
Okay, I'm going to go SmackDown. And I'm going to pick... I like your BE call. Big E call. I'm going to take Jey Uso as a survivor. Let's make Jey Uso as tough as possible, right?
I have no problem with that. That's a solid call.
Okay, women's. This is going to be, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lana, Lacey Evans, and Peyton Royce against Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and 2 TBDs. Jason, I'll let you go first.
Oh, man, this is making my head hurt.
I don't even want to think about this.
If I knew who the TBDs were, I would go with that. I must still pick SmackDown regardless, but I'm going to pick Bianca Belair as the sole survivor.
Okay. I like that. Joey, what do you got?
So SmackDown is Nia Jax or no?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Raw is Nia Jax.
Yeah, I'll pick SmackDown.
Just because Nia Jax isn't on SmackDown?
Yeah, they're gonna lose.
Okay.
Well, you think Lana's gonna save the day and that's gonna be like her big thing?
A lot of people are the conspiracy theory is the reason that they're doing Lana like this is that she'll be the sole survivor on Sunday.
That would be the
No
dumbest
way.
fucking thing.
There is no. They are not putting that much thought into Lana and Survivor Series.
Are we going to
guarantee
really sit here and poo-poo that and say that's beyond the realm of possibility?
I'm going to say Raw wins, and I'm going to say
Go ahead.
I'm going to say Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are both survivors. Fuck! I can't wait to be right about that.
Whatever.
Oh, I can't wait to be right about that.
Like you right all the time on predictions.
I feel pretty good about it.
How that Kingston prediction work out?
What do you got, Zach?
Y'all both got worked.
I feel like I already telegraphed this earlier in our discussion, and I got one of the TBDs, which is Rhea Ripley. So I got SmackDown. Rhea Ripley, sole survivor.
Oh, that's a really good call. Okay, moving on to the champion versus champion matches. We'll start off with Sasha Banks and Asuka. Joey, who you got?
I got Asuka with maybe like an interference by Bayley.
Okay, Jason, who you got?
I'm gonna take Sasha Banks just for the fact that we've seen the Asuka beat Sasha plenty of times. This is if we're gonna have Sasha win matches, win title defenses. It's kind of important to beat Asuka. Asuka's Teflon. I see why not. I see no reason why not to do it. Give me Sasha Banks.
Who you got, Zach?
Yeah, actually, same thing. I think that Asuka is more beatable, unfortunately, because Sasha having that history of never having defended a title until right now. I think every defense, even though it's not a defense of the title, every win is critical, and that's what I think should happen.
Have we ever seen Sasha Banks go over Asuka clean? I mean, there's no way, right?
No, I
can't think of it.
But
There's no way I'm picking Sasha Banks. You got to show me you can beat Asuka. You got to show me.
he's from Missouri.
I'm from Missouri.
That's
this
right.
is the show me
That's
state.
right. Okay, I ain't
If
mad
she
at
ain't
you.
never beat Asuka, she's got to beat Asuka.
Okay, I was getting ready to start talking shit, but I can't talk shit. That makes it makes show me St. Louis sense. Fair enough. Do your thing, man.
Thank you. We have Bobby Lashley, who has the U.S.
Yes.
and Sami Zayn, who has the Intercontinental. And they've already had a feud. Remember, they had a long feud. Bobby Lashley.
It actually, I think, was in the running for Beef Award of Worst Feud of the Year.
I was just getting ready to say, is this Bobby Lashley's sisters?
It's his sister's promo, yeah. And, Sami Zayn made him run an obstacle course.
Yeah.
Like American Ninja Warrior.
I know. This
Right.
is so bad.
I mean, that feud was so bad, I couldn't give it anything less or anything more than a B plus or an A minus. That's the kind of shit you remember. You remember it was just so bad.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. That's pretty brutal.
How many feuds has Bobby Lashley been in that you'll never think about ever again?
All of them?
You'll remember this one. No, this one's good though.
No, damn
if
that.
you would have put if you were somehow finagle it and have Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley is like mega protected. Like he wins all the time.
Yes.
Crazy.
Whoa. Okay.
Anyway, I'll go first.
Yeah,
I'll go first.
Yeah, because I was getting ready to say get ready to get off the one sidebar.
I'm picking Lashley because Lashley is big. Lashley's on Raw, and Vince doesn't care about Sami Zayn or SmackDown.
Wow. Okay, that's not what I expected you to do.
Well, I'm rooting for Sami Zayn.
Okay, so I just expect you to double down on it and just pick him.
No, I've changed my strategy. I'm picking with my head, not my heart.
So this changed from what, last week? Or 2 weeks
from last
ago,
week. Yeah,
when we did the AEW predictions.
I had to talk with myself before you guys came over.
No, that's good to know. I'll Jedi mind trick this motherfucker before the end of the show. I'm gonna still stick with Sami Zayn. I think that Sami Zayn is the bigger upside. We know where Bobby Lashley is. The Hurt Business are who they are. This is as high as Bobby Lashley goes. For Sami Zayn, there is a certain person to hide around the corner, possibly Daniel Bryan, possibly Apollo, possibly Otis. He needs to stay strong to get other guys over. I'm taking Sami Zayn.
Zach, who you got?
Yeah, and actually, I am picking Sami Zayn for a similar reason, just because, like I said, Bobby Lashley is like mega protected. Like he doesn't lose. Like even though this is like he kind of is more of a face, even though he's actually a heel. I don't know. It's always kind of confusing whenever they do face stuff and they're heels. But
so you're picking Sami Zayn.
I'm picking Sami Zayn. Yep, that's where I'm going.
It sounded like you were arguing for Lashley, though, didn't it?
I was.
That's why I was like protected.
I
know who he's got.
Joey, who you got?
My man, Bobby Lashley.
See, me and Joey are on the same wavelength.
Yeah, what
you guys are out of your ever-loving mind
Yeah.
if you think Sami Zayn is going over in this match. Sami Zayn is going to get jobbed the fuck out.
Did you? No, I know you didn't watch SmackDown. Did you watch SmackDown? Did you watch SmackDown?
Yeah.
You saw how he did
I did watch
Apollo,
it,
right? You gonna tell me that can't happen to Bobby Lashley? That Sami Zayn can't
No.
outsmart
No,
Bobby
no.
Lashley? I can't wait till Sunday.
Apollo
I
Crews
can't
is-
wait till Sunday.
Man, we should put something on it.
What you want to put on it? I can
Let's
take
make
from you.
Let's make it more interesting.
What you want to put on it? I can take from you. What you want to give to your boy for his birthday?
I have a 2010 Subaru. It's got like 174,000 miles on it.
Bad plates on it. No,
It's got bad plates. But you'll be all right. You're in the city now.
and I'm black. They're just gonna keep letting me go by. Go ahead.
You ain't out there in the county. All right.
That's great.
2 more matches. New Day versus the Street Profits. Now listen, Jason, I know I've been talking about wrestling with you longer than anybody else on this show. If you don't answer the way that I think you're going to answer, I'm going to be so mad.
I'm scared to answer.
Jason, New Day versus Street Profits. Who you got?
I will say this before I answer. I'm very disappointed in the build. I expected more of comedy from both sides. It felt like one side was comedy, the other side wasn't. The other side being Street Profits was not nearly as funny as New Day. New Day brought the heat. Street Profits did not. That being said, I will stick
They only
to...
brought the smoke.
Exactly. I would say I will stick to my guns.
Somebody pay that man. Company man.
Right.
You're fucking Zach.
I will stick to my guns about making new stars. New Day is made. Street Profits, as far as I'm concerned, have not been made since they've been up to the main roster. I don't give a fuck how long they had the Raw titles. I don't give 2 shits about how long they had the SmackDown titles. That feud, quote unquote, against Viking Raiders was nothing more than comedy and comedy only. This is a chance to make a new, fresh tag team. I'm taking the Street Profits to win.
So you're taking the Street Profits?
Yes.
Okay.
Did I do right?
Yeah, you did right. Yes. If you would have picked a New Day, I mean, you're all about making new stars. That's all you've ever talked about. You know, they got to make new stars. They have a problem making new stars. I mean, you've been saying it for 17 years. Yes, they need to make new stars. New Day is made. Street Profits better go over, or else it's bad business.
I agree. No argument here.
Unless they turn Street Profits heel, but they're not going to do that at Survivor Series.
No, that would be a waste.
Zach, who you got?
I got Street Profits for that same reason. I want to see the young guys go over.
Joe?
Give me the smoke, baby.
All right. We're all on. Okay, so here we have the most interesting one. Because it is really interesting the way they're going to book this.
Okay, never mind. I'm going to stop.
Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. Champ versus champ. Zach, I don't think I've let you gone first yet. Go ahead.
This is tough. Almost tough enough, dare I say. But
nah, man, let him go.
I got to go Roman Reigns just because they've done such an amazing job with Drew. But Roman, and Drew's doing the best work of his life right now, but like Roman's been at it longer. And I feel like he's more the brand. And unless there's like some fuckery, unless like there's the Miz involved or something, I got to go Roman.
There will be fuckery in this match, guaranteed.
All right, Joe, you're going next then. Who you got?
Roman Reigns.
Are we saying Jey Uso fuckery?
Yes.
Okay.
Or Randy Orton fuckery, or Miz fuckery. Some kind of fuckery is going on here.
There's some finger banging happening.
Different kind of fuckery.
Miz fuckery. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either until he just said that, and that would really, wow. Okay, see, that's a whole nother can of worms right there. No, I'm not going to change. Roman Reigns should win this. I'm going to stick with my pick. I'm picking Roman Reigns. Drew has been, like I said, amazing picking up the baton and running it since the pandemic era has begun. However, I will be a victim of recency bias. Roman Reigns has been white hot since they turned him heel. He has been nothing but intriguing to watch from that point on. How he's basically making Jey Uso his bitch for the last 2 weeks has been absolutely a thrill to watch. I don't see any reason to get off that train at this point. I'm taking Roman Reigns.
Did you pick, Joe?
Yeah, Roman Reigns, like an hour ago.
I know. This
He's talking about us.
This did seem difficult when McIntyre first won because then I was like, fuck. They about to put McIntyre over. And then it's
they still could. They still could.
I'd
if
say
they
there is
did it, I wouldn't be like, oh man, that's fucked up. I wouldn't be mad.
I mean, I would put 10-1 odds on Roman Reigns coming out of this. Roman Reigns is not getting beat.
No. Hell no. He shouldn't get beaten till WrestleMania. At the least.
I think he should go over WrestleMania too.
Now
I'm like
that.
Vince. See?
Now
you should run all the way through 2024.
If you
Whoa. Hang on now. Shit.
If you live to be old enough, eventually you start thinking like Vince.
For a little bit, okay? Let's not get out of hand. Past WrestleMania, all bets are off.
So everybody's got Roman Reigns. Okay. You know what? That looks like a pretty good pay-per-view to me.
I was saying it to Joe when we were having a lunch today. There's only one match I'm
You
looking
guys
forward
had
to.
lunch together?
Yeah. Guess where we went?
F&B
Cheesecake
Eatery?
Factory?
No.
Cooper's Hawk.
No 2 beer, but Bill, your guess is close to where we actually went to.
F&B Eatery?
It's close to where we actually went to.
It's the name of a wrestler.
Like geographically or
Geographically, it's close to F&B Eatery.
Just tell me. This is a bad pod.
JJ Twigs.
Oh. Well, who's the wrestler named JJ Twigs?
Jeff
Jeff
Jarrett.
Jarrett.
Oh.
Double J, baby.
That's- All right.
Jesus Christ.
Good
I think his real
prediction.
name was Brian Adams.
Smarten up there, slap dick.
Hold on. That wasn't loud enough.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Okay, we got some
Shit.
birthdays this week, guys. Not very many, though.
Thank God.
Beth Phoenix is 40. Elias is 33.
Whoa. Beth Phoenix is 40?
40.
Never mind. I ain't
She's
gonna say
in
a
my
word.
grade. Elias is 33. Brie and Nikki Bella are 37. Miss Elizabeth, R.I.P., would have been 60.
What?
And then there's
I bet
one
she- I
more
bet she'd still be
birthday.
mega hot.
Dude, don't even start, man.
One more birthday.
Dude.
Happy birthday,
Cornelia.
Jason.
Thanks, man.
47.
There we go playing
It's
traffic.
his birthday today?
Tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, shit, I would have paid for lunch.
Yeah, it's my birthday, motherfucker. No, it's all good.
Rabbit fever, middle of the night.
Or F&B Eatery.
Check.
For Lucha Chris.
Check.
For Murray, the Murray Man Murray.
Check.
For Vice.
Check.
For 2 Beers, Zach Pullman.
Check.
For Tinder Mahal.
Check.
For Jason Cornelius Bell, happy birthday.
Fuck you. Konnichiwa, bitches.
Hey, everybody, I'm Bill Vagey. Support your local weed
Check.
dealers.
Check.
Support your local restaurants.
Check.
Black Lives Matter.
Check.
And boo the heat.
47 sucks.